Hey Max, yeah, just gonna make it short. I think my question is mostly on synergizing, which is what you talked about in the triangle of freedom. You have your relationships, your purpose, business, and your health. And my situation is I have this mentor, so I'm working in technology. So I'm a university student, and I have this mentor, and he's done 5 research papers in undergrad. He opened 2 startups, and now he's basically traveling the world advising VCs and working in like secret projects and stuff. And I thought that was really cool because you get the money, the purpose, the travel, and he's mentoring me like finding a niche in the future technology, for example, VR, and be the best at it. And then that way you can leverage the money, you can leverage the travel, you can work with whatever project you choose. And
yeah,
my main question is, I could either go through that route and that would give me more money, it equals more freedom, travel, and more time to like date girls and travel around. Or I was thinking, should I find a business that's more kind of synergized with the dating part? Because when you're doing technology and programming or data science, whatever, it's like completely cut off from your dating life. It's like, it's so hard to connect the two. Or I was thinking I can go for a career that's say photography or hosting events, then maybe that way you can synergize more, but it's not exactly my purpose. So how do you kind of deal with that synergy?
It depends, right? Like when you hear me say things like, okay, it should feed into each other, it's kind of like, it seems obvious to be like, okay, cool. Like if I'm, for example, like a dating instructor, that feeds into each other really well. And I agree to a degree, right? For me, it was like, cool, the better my game becomes, the better I get at my business, the more money I make, the more freedom I have. So it was all feeding into each other, and that's all good. But here's the caveat. At the same time, being a professional dating coach oftentimes means you're getting laid less than you would otherwise. So when I would, for example, go out with my students, you think I could just like fuck off with a girl at 10? Like there's like 3 guys that pay me 3K each. See you later, guys. You know, like they'd be like, what the fuck? So like we used to joke around about it in RSD. We would call it pay to not get laid. And funnily enough, when you're out in the club to not get laid, even though you got really good game, girls want to fuck you even, maybe guys as well. Girls want to fuck you even more. So I would like sometimes like instruct my clients and like at 9 a.m., like I just entered the club. Girls would be like, hey, like, let's go home. Where do you stay? And I'm just like, and like beautiful, hot as hell girls. And I would like literally like, and I would know like I could just go home with her now. And I would have to like on purpose would be like, well, let's hang out later. What's your number? And you could tell like in her face, just like how disappointed she got. Like, she's like, I thought that guy would get it and take me home, but no. So that would happen a lot of times. So the thing is, what I'm trying to say is like on top of that, what happened to me a lot is like, I got so burnt out by just being the dating guy and kind of being identified as that is like, I felt really objectified by my audience. Like when I would be like on the street, people instead of like asking me how I was doing, I felt like people just wanted to have a picture with me and ask me game questions instead of actually being interested in me as a person. As weird and superficial that sounds, it kind of hurt me. And then you get really burnt out from this game thing. And then, you know, it's like Saturday and you have a week off. And the last thing you want to do is go out and do game. You'd rather stay at home and fucking watch StarCraft all the time, which is also where my StarCraft passion came from. So you can overdo it as well with trying to force that connection. And it's kind of similar to what we said earlier in terms of relationships. It's like my girlfriend balances me out. So if you say this career path that I have together with my mentor is something that generally fits well, like you like the money aspect, it's something that you're passionate about. It's like, how fucking cool is that already? Like you're passionate about it and you like the money. Like that's better than 99% of people have for their living, you know? So this might actually be good because it acts as some sort of counterbalance to your game. Does that make sense?
Yeah, perfect. I was literally thinking because, you know, you can't work 24/7. You're just going to tire it out. So I was thinking when you're so done with work, you can just go do the dating thing or build your, I don't know, online profile or whatever and use that as like your secondary project, as Derek would usually say.
Exactly.
So I don't know. I think, what are your thoughts on that? Is that a good idea?
What exactly do you mean?
I like just to work on your passion, and then when you have time off, just like work on your dating life, and then just kind of
Yeah, exactly.
recharge that way.
Exactly, but at the same time, you want to make sure that this shit is structured, not just like, oh,
Yeah,
whenever I
yeah,
have time, I work on my day. Because it depends. If you're someone who easily slacks off and is like, I'll do it, I'll do it on Friday, then of course that type of setup is not going to work. You want to make it as easy for you as possible. So what I did, for example, a good example of that is completely the opposite of each other is when I play poker. So before I started trying to become an instructor in dating, my idea of like my vehicle that gives me the freedom, the triangle part of the freedom, the money that gives me the freedom of the triangle was poker, because I had a professional poker player at my disposal who was one of my first clients in pickup. His name's Andre, great guy, still one of my best friends. And he would just teach me poker. So literally for like 8 hours a day, I would read and learn theory on poker. Then I would play poker. And then in the evening, I think around 9 a.m. or something, 9 p.m., we would start going out. And that worked surprisingly well, even though these things were completely opposite, because poker is like pure logic. Like you want emotions to stay away from there as much as humanly possible. Otherwise, you tilt very easily, right? And game is the exact opposite. You want to be really aware of your emotions, of the girl's emotions, and just play with that. But in poker, you play with everything but emotions. And I like that a lot because it, again, like I would just get logic until my logical brain was so exhausted. I would hit the gym until I was physically exhausted. And then I would go out until I was emotionally exhausted. Best sleep you could ever get. And what I did there, though, is I scheduled and planned it properly, right? I said Monday through Friday, basically from wake up to 9 p.m. in the evening, it's either gym, poker theory, or poker practice. Sunday afternoon to evening was date time. So there I would have all the dates with all my quote unquote, friends with benefits, so to speak. And every day after 9 p.m., I would go out. So you need to structure that properly and not just say, whenever I have spare time.
Got it. Thanks so much. That makes sense.
Boom. Boom, shakalaka.